This is KGW News at noon.
Welcome to the News at Noon. I'm Drew Carney. We'll bring you the latest on the situation in Ukraine in just a moment, but our top story this afternoon is an update to the indoor mask mandates for Oregon and Washington. The governors of both states announced today that indoor mask rules will be lifted at 11:59 p.m. on March 11th. So again, moving up the date from what was the 31st of March to the 19th and now the 11th. Healthcare settings, airports, and public transit, by the way, are among the places where masks will still be required. It was exactly 2 years ago today that the first COVID case was reported here in Oregon. A janitor at an elementary school in Lake Oswego had been feeling sick for days, so doctors decided to give him a COVID test. That test came back positive, and news of the positive test broke later that night. Since then, there have been more than 690,000 COVID cases in Oregon and more than 6,500 COVID deaths. The good news today is that we are seeing improvement after the height of the Omicron surge. Cases and hospitalizations both dropping, and we just heard Oregon's mask mandate going away now in 12 days. Dr. Cameron Webb, a senior policy advisor on the White House COVID response team, says Oregon has done a lot of things right during the pandemic.
We do see that the vaccination rate in Oregon, for instance, is doing okay among adults. There are nearly 78% of adults who are fully vaccinated, about nearly 87% who've had at least one shot. So again, that's great news.
Governor Kate Brown will also lift the state's COVID emergency declaration on April 1st. Today is also the deadline for Oregon tenants to pay their landlords back if they're behind on rent. Oregon's COVID-related eviction moratorium expired last summer, but renters were given an extension until today. So starting tomorrow, March 1st, landlords can begin to collect any missed rent and can also start the eviction process. All right, let's get to the latest from Ukraine now. Ukraine and Russia, we know, just wrapped up their first round of talks, but there was no agreement to end the war. The two countries simply decided today to keep the talks going. Meanwhile, Russian forces are targeting Ukraine's second largest city at this point. Ukraine's Interior Ministry advisor says dozens of people are already dead. Hundreds more are wounded. NBC News has verified this video we're showing you, but has not been able to confirm how many people have died. That news comes at the same time Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the country's nuclear forces to wait on standby, escalating tensions there even further. And Belarus renounced its non-nuclear status, meaning Russia could be allowed to place nuclear weapons in Belarus. We're waiting for more on that. One more thing we can note today, Ukraine's president did apply to join the European Union. Of course, Russia's invasion has already taken a huge toll on Ukraine. As of this morning, the United Nations says more than 500,000 people have fled the country. These images we're showing you here this afternoon show burned out military vehicles, buildings completely ripped apart by missiles, and you see the bloodstains there in the snow.
I want to go away from war. It's very dangerous situation, very dangerous, and I cannot do anything. I must save my child. I must save him.
It's so weird to actually hear the explosions in the city day by day and shootings, and seeing all the images all around the country where people suffer.
Most of the people fleeing Ukraine are heading to either Poland or Hungary. Under martial law, though, during wartime, all men between 18 and 60 are required to stay there in Ukraine and help with the fight. Portland's Ukrainian community came together for a prayer vigil last night at the Ukrainian Bible Church in Fairview.
People are dying.
Руйнуються пожитки.
All of the possessions are being destroyed.
У тисячі і мільйонів людей страх на серці.
Thousands and millions of people, they have great fear in their hearts.
You can hear the service was held there in 2 languages and called for hope. This event was actually planned before Russia's invasion.
It means so much more than we even originally thought. Praying for the country where most of, if not all of our members are from.
Ukrainian Bible Church is accepting donations right now to help people in Ukraine. You can donate either online or by text. We have information about that linked to this story on KGW.com. Meanwhile, Portland-based Mercy Corps is taking action. It's sending a small team to Ukraine to assess how much help is needed. Tim Gordon explains.
The sirens wailed not long after the invasion of Ukraine began. Long before that, Mercy Corps was monitoring and considering the what-ifs.
If the military conflict were to spread dramatically, that would mean urban warfare, which is brutal. It would also mean the displacement probably of large numbers of people.
We spoke with Craig Redmond just hours before Russia began its unprovoked invasion. He explained Mercy Corps has helped more than 200,000 Ukrainians before when there was major trouble with Russia. These pictures show some of the catastrophic damage then.
Back in 2014, during that conflict, Mercy Corps did some cash assistance to internally displaced people. We did water, food, sanitation.
Right now, a small team is traveling to Poland and, if possible, into Ukraine to assess the evolving needs. Based on what we're seeing of the fighting and damage already, the needs will be great. So far, Mercy Corps is not sure if it will mount a humanitarian effort. Redmond says if they do, they'll be ready.
So we have a lot of people who understand how to navigate the situation. The other thing is that over 90% of the people who work for us are from the countries where we're working.
That allows the aid organization to move quickly to help around the world. And whether it's in response to natural disasters like hurricanes or earthquakes, or the disaster of war, the focus is on the people who can't escape the suffering.
My heart goes out to those people who are in those communities. I'll tell you, oftentimes the majority of the people who cannot go are the elderly or people who are disabled in one way or another. And that's the heartbreaking piece of it, right? They don't have jobs, they don't have resources, and they can't go.
And so if Mercy Corps sees a way to help and does so, things will move quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't wait. We have to be thinking about where are people likely to go, what would their needs be. We know they're going to need cash. We know they're going to need food assistance. They're going to need water, shelter. Those kinds of things those basic needs have to be addressed right away.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Of course, we'll continue to bring you the latest developments from Ukraine throughout our newscast today. Our next live local newscast comes your way at 4 p.m. You can also find updates online at KGW.com. We want to check into the Weather Center now with Rod Hill. Rod, we talked on the Sunrise Show this morning about all that rain that was headed our way, and we certainly saw a lot of it the last few hours.
Yeah, we're probably going to hit rain amounts right around 2 inches for the 24-hour period ending later this evening. So we have the big low offshore. We have the atmospheric river, which is what we call these elongated fetches of moisture that take aim at a specific area and then for a day or two just keep pushing the moisture inland. That's what we have right now. Not a big change on the watchers or warnings. We still have the wind warning for the coast up through 4 p.m. this afternoon. Now, so far, the winds have mostly been south gusts less than 50. So that's good news, right? Wind advisories for gusts to 40 plus in parts of central Oregon out into the basin. And the flood watch, and we do have, this is for the West Hills, the Coast Range, the Willapa Hills and the coast. We have a couple rivers up in the Willapa Hills that are right around flood stage already. And then you see this new player, which is a flood advisory posted until 1 o'clock over the Portland Metro. That's just in response to the fact that we have high water spots from the downpours that have been moving through, something that, of course, was expected. The rain's letting up a little bit back here down to the southwest of Portland, so there might be a momentary break in the action this afternoon. Otherwise, it's all wet into tonight. 58 right now, 60 at 4 p.m. Drew?
Well, Rob, with all the rain and wind in the forecast, the 3 main ski areas up on Mount Hood all closed today. We're talking about Timberline, Meadows, and Ski Bowl. All 3 resorts say they do plan to reopen tomorrow, but they'll evaluate things in the morning before they make that decision. In other local news today, an alleged armed robbery suspect is in custody after what was close to a 9-hour standoff with police in Tualatin. So this all started Sunday morning in Sherwood. We're giving you a map of the area right here. Officers were called to a gas station after reports of an act of robbery, and witnesses say the suspect was carrying a gun. That suspect wound up leading police to Romer's RV park in Tualatin. Police put up a perimeter around the RV park, and a special unit was called in to talk with the suspect. Finally, at about 8:30 last night, Sherwood police say that suspect was taken into custody. Portland police, meanwhile, are investigating a deadly shooting that happened this weekend in the Lloyd district. Officers found one person dead in a parking garage near Northeast 2nd and Holiday on Saturday night, but they haven't made any arrests yet, and they haven't released any information about a suspect. All right, this next story is really wild. It comes out of Northeast Portland. That's where a woman had her car stolen with her 3-year-old child inside the car.
This happened near Northeast 16th and Shaver. Police say the child's mom called 911 around 8 o'clock Friday morning because a man reportedly jumped into her car while it was still running and then took off with her 3-year-old son in the back seat. Now, the boy's father was also there, so he immediately started chasing after the suspect in another car. He followed him for several blocks and then crashed his car into the stolen car. That's when the suspect got out and started running. So the father was able to get to his son inside the stolen car, found out his son was okay, but the story's not over there because there were people who were around that spot where the crash happened, and then they started chasing after the suspect. That includes T.P. Brown Jr. T.P. caught up to the suspect and used his own car to pin the suspect against a fence, and then he and some other people held him there until police arrived.
The Amazon driver, I wish I knew his name, got out of his truck with some rope, and we began to tie him up and detain him until the police got here.
Police say the suspect was injured during the chase, and he'll be arrested after he's released from the hospital.